I'm Porsha Kimble, your cake diva, and make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to Cakers Chat.
Welcome to the SoFlo Cake and Candy Expo 2018. Let's get inside.
Welcome, cakers, bakers, and sweet treat makers. This is Cakers Chat.
Up next, we have Porsha Kimble of Your Cake Diva, as seen on Food Network's Cake Wars. She's best known for her courses in streamlining the home-based baking business by giving students the tactics and tools she used in her days in sales. After being in the baking game for over 14 years, she now travels nationwide to share her story and her knowledge with those who are eager to make a living at making cakes from home, the Diva way. Her truth bomb personality sells out classes, and her classes get students selling out of sweets. Now, let's get to our chat.
Porsha, thank you so much for joining us here at the Cakers Chat Lounge at SoFlo. What brings you here today at the SoFlo Cake and Candy Expo?
I am teaching a class. I taught today, Saturday, and then I also teach tomorrow afternoon. That's why I'm here.
It seems like you sold out a whole bunch of classes. What's up with that, and did you expect that to happen?
I did not expect that to happen. I got 25 seats. And then I continued to sell out. I sold more seats today, which is great. And I was very shocked by the amount of people who contacted SoFlo to open the class up the way it did. So I ended up having over 100 students today, and I'll end up having over 20 tomorrow. And I'm very shocked about it, but I'm excited.
I don't know why you're so shocked. You have so many followers. Everybody loves you for your honesty, your openness, and for what you stand for, which is basically an independent woman doing her thing, a strong entrepreneur, right? Why are we giggling?
I think it's hard when people tell you about yourself because you're not used to that. I don't feel like I'm any different than anyone else because I'm making cakes and doing things like everyone else. So I never look at myself in a different light, I guess you could say.
But you exude confidence.
That's even when I'm not doing cake. I mean, I'm always going to be that way, but I was raised to always be confident in what I was doing and whatever decisions, that I make. And if I want to move forward with what I've decided, then I have to, own that ownership and responsibility behind it.
So from this side of the cake bench, what do you think makes you so popular?
I think the thing that makes me probably the most popular is because I don't have a problem putting my cake issues out there. I think a lot of people before thought cake was just perfection and that nobody messed up. I believe that, there's a lot of people besides myself that are open about, using cake mix. I talk about being sued, messing up. A lot of people just don't like to talk about that. And really, we're not in a perfect cake world. We're just not.
Why is that important to show the fact that you do mess up or you have messed up in the past? Why is that important to show, and why hasn't anybody else shown it?
Well, everybody wants to be a perfectionist. That's the first thing. The second thing is I don't have a problem sharing because it makes you relatable, because those are actual things that are happening to people every weekend in their kitchen, in their home. If I'm going through it or I've been through it, I know somebody else may be going through it. And why not help people and give them advice so they don't have to go through it? That's how I look at it. But we're all, trying to get to something bigger and better. And why not just share your journey and help others along the way?
I think that's magnificent. And I think your message is really important to be put out there. And there is something to be said. And we've heard this before in the cake community. And it's tough, because there's a lot of people out there who don't necessarily, it's said that they don't have the talent, but yet they are popular to get to that point so that you can send out your message.
I think when you put yourself out there, you have to be okay with the negative that comes with it. Because even though you're expressing something, it doesn't mean that the feedback is always going to be okay. So if you're going to put yourself out there, you got to be prepared for the good and the bad, because it's not always going to be good. I myself know that I'm not on a level that a lot of people are on artistic wise. I mean, I'm nowhere near a Timbo Sullivan or Avalon or Liz Merrick, and I'm okay with that. That's not my design aesthetic. Do I look up to them and admire their work? Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, that is the epitome of cake at its absolute finest and above. But that's not my genre of cake. And I think that's okay. You know, I tell people in my classes, you can be great at cake, but you don't even have to make a cake to be great at it. You could make figures, and that's your thing. You know, you may be horrible at baking, but you can really sculpt. I mean, there's so many different ways, and I know that my lane is my lane, whatever lane that people see that it is. But I'm okay and I'm comfortable where I'm at. I admire other people who have been in this business, but I just know that's not the avenue for me.
Speaking of lanes and avenues, what lane do you think you are in from your perspective?
Girl, I'm in a whole different HOV lane. I'm in my own lane. I build my own road. There's not a road that I'm on that has already been traveled. I think social media has definitely given us all a way to speak through art and vocally, verbally, expressively. You know, I don't think that my road is unique for me because I'm not in a certain way, but I am vocal, and I may be selling out classes because I am so vocal, but my talent isn't near at that level, and I can say that about myself.
It's like every cake show wants to grab at you to get you there for some reason, like out of nowhere. Do you see this?
Yes, I do. I know how to make money, and I don't have a problem. You know, people make money off of me, and I'm okay with that. That's part of this. There will get a point where I don't want to do that anymore, you know. But I feel like I'm at a point of saying yes to everything. I'm not going to say no to anything right now. I'm happy to be a part of something and be there in just with my presence. And I'm honored that anybody would even ask me to be a part of something that they were doing. And I respect that. And I'm in their house or under their umbrella for their show, I'm gonna abide by their rules. And that's just a respect aspect, I feel like.
It seems like you have this overall gratefulness. How important is it to be grateful for what you have, even though it's not exactly what you want to have?
I think that at the time of my life right now, I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm grateful because for a long time, I was not invited to shows. People didn't want me there because of my mouth. And, you know, it's a backlash, and you can't fight it anymore. I mean, for the longest time, cake shows always have the same people, and they teach the same things every year. And with social media and people that are there, I mean, you can consider them underdogs if you want to. There's so much talent out there, and they're not getting the exposure. That's why I have my retreat for people who want to teach that can't get in that realm. I mean, it's hard. It is very hard to get in. I don't care what anybody says. I've been doing this for 13 years. I just got in last year. It is what it is. And sometimes it's based on your talent or your personality, who you know. You may not get invited because of someone you don't get along with. But for the most part, I am grateful. I am grateful, and I'm okay with saying yes right now.
Portia, do you have to wait to get invited?
SoFlo, you have to apply to teach. Some shows have to reach out to you. And like I said, I've reached out to a show before. They didn't want me. And I thought that's fine. I tried 3 years in a row and nothing. And it's sad because I live in a state with so many cake shows, and I can't even get invited or asked to do a show in my own state. I have to come all the way to Florida and sell out, 5 times to even be able to do what I'm doing, which is really insane to me.
It doesn't sound right. The math is not right. The recipe is not right. What do you think it is?
Well, I know that I don't have the best reputation.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't have the best reputation because I do speak on things that most people wouldn't speak on. I may speak on my experience with other cakers that people don't care for. I'm never going to say anybody's name. I'm never going to do anything like that. Some people put 2 and 2 together, but some people are afraid of the truth. There's a lot of cake shows that are conservative, and they're not as open or modern to what's going on now with cake design.
What's considered a conservative cake show You're talking about not open to modern design. What exactly are you alluding to?
We all know there are cake shows that are conservative in the sense of they always are going to have the same people. They are always going to have the same person doing a buttercream class. They're not open to new people coming in or being open to social media. So many shows are out there and they're not open to opening themselves up with social media. A couple pictures isn't going to do it anymore. That's just not going to cut it. And I feel like a big piece of that is they're not revamping themselves. So a lot of shows are starting to dwindle down. They used to be enormous. It used to be like SoFlo, and you're not getting that grand, thing that we once did 10 years ago when cake shows first started. You could go to one cake show and get all your cake supplies for the year. And now there's 20 of them popping up everywhere. And you're like, people are wondering, where do they go to? And what does each one have to offer that they can't get somewhere else?
Go to the shows where Porsha Kimble's at.
just come to the one I'm at. It'll be fine.
So you just spoke a little bit, just shortly. You mentioned a retreat where you've kind of gathered the people who can't get into cake shows. Is that that was the premise of that?
I have gathered the people. No, my brown sugar cake retreat is basically geared towards people who are talented or feel like they're there that want to step into teaching. It is hard to get into a large show like this. I mean, hundreds of people apply. They only take so many. This is just kind of a smaller, intimate event that made people feel a little bit more comfortable. We take less than 150 people. And it's an overall thing. We don't have vendors. We don't have cake classes. It's a genre of desserts in general. Cookies, cake pops, the business, design, everything under one roof.
What is it? Kind of like a conference?
It's a retreat. I always wanted people to feel like they were leaving a church retreat. When you left, you made a new friend. And that's what it's about. It's about bonding. It's about coming together and not being afraid to speak your mind or ask that question because you're in a huge room full of people that you don't know. I want people to come there and maybe be like, I'm coming there because we all have the same interests. But when I leave, I feel like I met some people from Detroit. If I was from Detroit and I came by myself, I left with 10 people that I didn't know was from Detroit that make cake. And now I'm comfortable because all parts of cake in the cake community, it's not bad. Not all parts of it.
School us. Where is this retreat? The name of it? Where can we find more information?
It's the Brown Sugar Cake Retreat, brownsugarcakeretreat.com. This year it is in Atlanta, Georgia. Next year it will be in New Orleans for 2019. So we are moving it around. We're changing the format next year. We're changing it to levels where people feel like they're at. And we still won't do price classes because I feel like vendors and price classes, why take mine when you come to SoFlo? I want people to feel confident and good when they leave. Not that they don't feel confident or good at any other show, but this is more like a kumbaya. Everybody hold hands at the end and we're going to leave on good terms. So
it seems to me like you're focusing more on the community, building a community, and just confidence in knowing that there's somebody else out there just like you, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You're moving it around, which is really interesting. What is the inspiration behind that?
I mean, I'm from Texas and I would like to keep it there. We did Dallas last year. We're doing Atlanta this year, New Orleans the next year. So it may, go to the East Coast. It may stay low. Haven't decided yet. When we looked at it, we looked at Chicago, DC, somewhere that's a good area that people would want to visit at that time of the year.
Hold on to your spatulas. It's time for the Quick Mix Q&A.
My favorite color is black.
Favorite song? My
favorite song would have to be, that's a hard question. I'm going to go with Stevie Wonder, Ribbon in the Sky.
Name your favorite season.
My favorite season is the fall.
What's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert is creme brulee.
What's your least favorite dessert?
My least favorite dessert is cake.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Coffee or tea?
I would say coffee.
And your zodiac sign is?
I'm a Virgo.
Name a cake tool you just can't live without.
A cake tool I can't live without are my hands.
Exactly how did you get into caking?
Caking is something I grew up doing with my grandmother, so it started from the beginning and it just never stopped.
What did your first cake look like?
My first cake was a hot mess.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Honesty.
If you weren't a caker, what would you be?
If I wasn't a caker, I'd be a lawyer.
What's next for Porsha Kimble and your cake diva?
I don't know what's next. Well, I do know one thing. Next year, I did 17 cities last year. I'm doing 12 this year. Ooh, I cut 5 down. Next year, will not be even close to that. I'd like to kind of live my personal life and, live that for a while. I'd like to be able to do more cakes where I live and, just kind of take it a little bit slower in that direction. I've been doing cake for a long time and I feel like I haven't lived my personal life. I put it on the back burner and now it's time for me to live that portion.
We completely understand. And the next question I was going to ask you, how do you balance all this stuff and still keep composure?
That's a loaded question. I work a corporate job that I love. I love teaching online. I love traveling and I'm able to do so with my job, which I'm very blessed to do. I just think that you have to be happy with what you're doing. If I wasn't happy with it, I just wouldn't do it anymore. Tell people all the time, if you're not happy, just change it up.
You have a mom and grandmother that really support you. Your smile just went from ear to ear. They support you a lot. How important is that?
I always want to make my mother proud of me and my grandmother proud of me, which is so crazy because they've never seen me do a class. They've never seen me in person. They will be in California this year when I go in November. It's very important because they keep me at such a high standard. And I would never want to disappoint. Not that I'm living my life for them, but there's just an integrity. And sometimes, I fall off, of that. But they make sure to put me right back on the shelf and tell me where I need to be. If I'm getting too big for my britches, I'm 37, but I'm still scared. So I will just take that out. I still listen. And I'm also, every day is a work in progress,
It's tough because, you know what? Sometimes you're hurt. That's really where it comes from. A place of pain. And you want to express that out and let people know. I think that comes with time and expertise and a little bit of maturity because I suffer from that too. And all that, we're artists and we like to shoot from our mouths.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep this closed. Some people, when I've said it on my live, they're like, no, still be you. And I am still going to be me. But I just think that myself and my brand, have to contain in a certain way.
How important that is really specific right there. Why? Because you're selling a brand and you don't want your brand to be known for a certain thing, right?
Yeah, I've gone through the steps of not being a good brand, being a good brand to some, but I also know my audience. I have separate audience. I've got an audience of people that order cake for me, and then I have an audience that buy online classes for me. And those are two completely separate things. Some of the things I say on Instagram, I'm not going to say on Facebook. That's not the place to do it. Instagram's a little bit more open. And I had to really sit back here recently and say, my brand is me. I'm selling myself. I'm not even selling cakes anymore. I'm just selling me. I am the cake. And so I have to just be more mindful of people's feelings and what I'm saying, and putting out there.
I'm going to ask you a question that's just something curious. You have a loved one in your life, correct?
The way I look at it is I'm letting people know I have someone in my life, but it doesn't matter what he looks like to anybody else. I'm the only one. A lot of my friends have just met, Mr. Rogers for the first time in person. He was actually here today. A lot of people were very happy to meet him, but we have a personal life outside of cakes. And I just want people to know I'm very happy and I'm in love, but you don't need to worry about what he looks like. That's for me to know. He does give me, criticism and tries to motivate me and encourage me on the back end, of course. Do we take pictures? Of course we do. I just don't put that all out there. That's just for us.
Understood. Nobody knows what my husband looks like. They know I have a husband. I complain about him all the time. They know I have kids, but as far as you're concerned, my husband looks like Ricky Martin. Or is Ricky Martin? You just don't know about it.
No. Mine could be,
Fabio.
could be Brad Pitt right now, and you don't need to know. Yes.
Now we got me off track
That's
and
all
off
right.
kilter, and we're all good. What don't we know about Porsha Kimble? Let us know now.
Thing you don't know about me is, I have a hard time sleeping at night if I'm not happy with something. I really do feel remorseful. There are some things I, may say or do, and it may come off like I don't care. I really do, but sometimes, I think people don't get, I might be going through something that day, and I may have taken it out on that person and didn't mean to. But I genuinely do care. I really do.
We're all growing every day. That's the bottom line. We are all growing.
The way I feel about Caker's Chat is it's a really great way to get personal with the cake artist behind the scenes. A lot of us are shy. A lot of us are outspoken. And I think without Caker's Chat, you wouldn't really get an opportunity to find out some personal things about the person, because some things aren't shared that are personal on, social media. So with Caker's Chat, we get a chance to get to know the artist as an artist and as a person. And nobody else is doing it but Caker's Chat. And I think it's a great new way to just get to know people in the community.
Porsha Kimble, thank you so much for joining us here at the Caker's Chat Lounge here at SoFlo. I really appreciate it. And thank you for coming at our lounge for the second time. You're a two-timer here at Caker's Chat. And I hope that you come back and visit us again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Take care.
Hey, hope you've enjoyed this episode of Caker's Chat. If you have a question or two, don't let it stew. Comment below and let us know. Hey, and give us a hug with a thumbs up and a subscribe. Catch you on the next episode of Caker's Chat.
Hi, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Natasha,
And we're the hosts of SoFlo Cake and Candy Expo. The 2018 show was amazing.
so grab your aprons because 2019 is going to be fantastic.
Head over to SoFloCakeandCandyExpo.com to sign up for our newsletter.
And be the first to know about our classes and swag.
And don't forget about all of our special guests.
So grab your coffee and join me.
And me for Caker's Chat at SoFlo.
And as a special gift, Caker's Chat followers can use promo code CAKERS, that's CAKERS, to receive 15% off general admission. Tickets go on sale October 1st. See you there.